the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma quarterly meeting for March 2nd, 2019, 10 a.m. Before I call, just wanted to let you know that microphones, we don't have any microphones that are working, so I just wanted to let you know that y'all don't have microphones. Secretary, will you call roll, please?
Leota Simpson, Anthony Conley, John Narkey,
Here.
Rena Tiger, Sylvia Davis,
Here.
Patrick Thomas,
Here.
Ida Gonzalez, Nancy Fixico, Timothy Hooper,
Here.
Kelly Davis,
Here.
Anita Lena, Patricia Kishkaton, Karen Fulbright, Dina Tiger, Jennifer Horn, Sina Yesla, Thomas Billy Jr.,
Here.
Thomas Yehola, Abraham Ferroni,
Here.
Susie Harjo,
No.
Natalie Harjo, Gregory Bosaw,
Here.
Catherine McCoy, here.
What do you want?
Yeah, on behalf of Tom Shinola, he had a situation come up this morning, so he's have to be able to be here.
Charlie Hill,
Here.
Fanny Harjo, here. Kelsey Morrell, here. Regina Langford, here. William Williams,
Here.
By a count of 24 present, 4 absent, I declare that we have a quorum. Fanny, would you lead us in prayer this morning? Everybody stand.
I also asked for Jennifer to be excused. Her daughter made it to state. Warren's at state, and so that's what she's at.
Okay. At this time, it has come. Do y'all have an objection to Mr. Harjo making some comments? Mr. Harjo?
Yes. My name is Jeff Harjo. I'm the band chief for the Eufaula Band. On February 16th, we removed Ida Gonzalez and Nancy Fixico. On the 23rd of February, we reconfirmed their removal. So those two people over there shouldn't have answered the roll. They should be wishing the honors of the Eufaula Band, and they should vacate their seats.
Okay. Based on his comments and based on paperwork, if there's no objections, I'd like to break into the order to address the vacancy. And I would like to go on ahead, and if they would go on ahead and step down, because the band has handled the process the way that they were supposed to handle the process. And they have attempted to go to all measures to do that, so we need to nominate and give the oath to these. Your objections, sir? Objection to what?
the attempt to remove him. Due process hasn't been followed.
Explain your measures in regards to due process.
I haven't seen any meetings. I mean, besides that,
It's not.
to that point, the ban doesn't remove him. That's not ban business. The council's the only one that can, we've been through this before. The council's the only one that can remove general council officers.
Okay. Objection noted. Representative Brown.
Regardless of how the ban comes in, they should ask us as a formality to vote them out. We have to, by a vote of 19, remove an officer or an elected official. Once that is done, then we confirm that there is a vacancy. And only after those steps do we put a new council rep in place.
Representative Hill.
Mr. Chairperson, the problem with this nation, the reason why we cannot move forward is the fact that too many people are getting into other bands' business. If you read your Constitution and your Code of Laws and all that, under Chapter 10 of the Constitution, it says, under the tribal custom, we can supersede the Constitution and also the Code of Laws. We have what you call messed with this so long, so many times, so many people not worried about their bands, but worried about other people's bands. Bands business, let them handle it. We have nothing to say, and that's the way it should be.
Okay. Representative Hill.
For the last vacant seat before seating Representative Kelsey, the election board, I thought there was a process. Did you not have to pay your fee and turn in band minutes and everything to be approved by the election board before you took your seat?
Well, that's what they said, but I didn't have to.
Okay, because we haven't received any of that as well.
In the code, in section, chapter 10, chapter 3, section 301 and J, it doesn't ever, and I read it in regards to Ms. Morrell that day, that they stated that I seated her wrong. It doesn't speak to that language in the code in Title 10. It doesn't at all. All that it speaks to is an administrative fee of $15 to the election board. To the election.
So they don't have to clear the background check and
No.
everything as they come in?
No.
That's just what I want.
Yes, they have to have a letter of certification from the election board.
No, it does not. It does not. No, it does not. Representative Hill.
That's what I want cleared. I don't know.
Okay, election code, Title 10, Chapter 3, Section 301J, near the end of the paragraph. Any individual nominated to fill a general council band representative vacancy created during the term between election years shall, upon accepting such nomination, pay a $15 administrative processing fee to the election board. That's all it requires.
Representative Brown.
The big question here isn't how to pay the processing fee to be a council member. It's how do we remove presently seated council members? And it's only in the Constitution. Only in the Constitution does it state that, and it's by 19 votes of the general council. Any
That's if
elected
they're-
official.
That's if their bands
If
are.
the band wants to remove them, yes, with due process, and then they just ask us and we do it as a formality, but we still need to have 19 votes to remove any council member, any elected official. It's in the Constitution, it's undebatable. And I ask that the Attorney General give his opinion on that, please.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Richard Berry. I'm here on behalf of John Tiger, who is in the hospital on an emergency. With regard to your particular question, there are three documents that are really pertinent to the discussion. You have the band bylaws, you have the Constitution, and you have the election ordinance. The band elects its representatives. So if the band elects representatives, they can also remove representatives. The Constitution does provide a vehicle for the general counsel to remove general council members. But that's in addition to the removal procedures that the band can take. The band must provide due process to those representatives by providing them a written notice at least 10 days before a hearing of the band members as to whether or not they violated the rules that are set forth in the Constitution for their office. Once that has happened, the band, if there's a quorum of the band present, they can remove that person that they've elected. They then have a processing fee that they should pay to the election board pursuant to Title 10 but that's administrative in nature.
Representative Crum.
So who calls a band meeting? Who calls the band meeting? The band chief. Did the Eufaula band chief call a meeting for their removal of the council reps?
Let me ask, all right, and real quick, in regards to your comment, in regards to the 2015 bylaws that you're talking about, that you're referencing, in regards to what is in the office, the secretary's office, all that has in there is the bylaws for the 2015, year of 2015. It doesn't have the minutes to verify whether or not any minutes have been adjusted, nor were there a sign-in sheet showing that they had a quorum to make those adjustments to the 2015 bylaws. So in regards to where you're going with that question, that null and voids that, because that really doesn't exist, only on paper.
But who should be calling these band meetings to order?
Right,
The
the band chief should,
chief.
then it would go, then
Who's the elected band
the
chief?
bylaws would revert back.
Who's the elected band chief?
Representative Horton.
Hey, I just want to clarify really quickly, all of our band law bylaws do not mirror each other.
Right.
We don't have to, in our band, we don't have to provide 10 days notice if we want to remove. We can remove from our floor.
Right.
We can remove today. If they wanted to meet in the back of the, back there in the galley right now and remove me, they could do it if they have a quorum. We don't have to call a meeting. So we're getting into band business because we're individuals. We're also testing the autonomy of our bands right now. And that's not something that we want to get into. If so, then why are we sitting here in individual bands?
Representative Horton.
I just want to say that this council has always honored the word of the band, what the band wishes and what the band has done. Other bands did not enter into their business, so it's their business.
Okay.
And anybody in our band can call band meeting.
Okay. With that being said, there is a representative.
Well, first of all, the band meeting that they're talking about was an illegal meeting. The band chairman did not call a meeting. They were using, at that time, they had the original band bylaws. That is not in effect. Because those effects, we had a meeting and we reinstated our bylaws. So the bylaws have been reinstated and that's what we're going by. And even so, in the original bylaws and in our revised amended bylaws, it clearly states that we have to go according to the Constitution. And so that is what we are doing. Both of them say that.
The 2015 bylaws that you have in the office do not show or reflect that you have any minutes showing of the changes
Now,
according to your bylaws.
whose rules is that to say that? And how do we
Well, how do you
know
know?
it wasn't there?
How do you know if any changes that are made, whether you're saying them right now, are valid or not?
They are valid.
Well, that's just what you're saying.
Well,
That's why you have a minutes, and that's why you have a quorum.
but it
So
has
you-
never been said by this body that you are required to do that.
Okay, real quick, if that's being said, though, your band.
And this is band business, and even you should stay out of our band business.
All I'm saying is declaring a vacancy. I'm declaring a vacancy. I'm not in your business.
Yes, you are.
I'm just declaring a vacancy. Okay,
You're the
all right.
chairman
Okay,
of this
yes, you're right. You're right. It's not for me to get in your business.
Then stay out of
All
our
right. What I'm trying to tell you is that there is a vacancy, but you don't think that there's a vacancy.
It was
Okay.
illegally done.
You need to step up and do your deal. Because if you are in a fight with your band, which you are, somehow or another, you're in a fight with your band, all right? Your band has spoken and stated that you shouldn't be in your seat. So, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you can fight all day long and you can sit in your seat. See?
Well, they declared themselves a band, but they are
They
not
declared
a
themselves-
part of our band. They divided themselves from us.
Representative Tyra.
We sat there, we rescinded our bylaws, back to the original bylaws, and had a regular band meeting. Everybody voted and passed, so that bylaws, we're at the We went by the gentleman's recommendation. We sent them the letters 10 days ahead. We filed it over there at the office. So we did it. And they refused to show up. They refused to go by what we voted on. That's why they're getting removed. They voted the way they want to vote and they get out.
Because it was illegal.
It was not an illegal meeting.
It was.
It was not an illegal meeting, according to our bylaws.
It's an
According to our
illegal meeting.
bylaws,
And I don't think you should
band
entertain this
members
anymore.
can request a meeting. But we provided them notice. What she is saying that they revised their band bylaws, that wasn't illegal. All the meetings we've had, we followed our original bylaws. We followed it to the letter. So they need to be removed.
Representative Will.
I don't want to get into the band business. So we've been instructed by our band to pass that. Since there's such a confusion going on here, not to be part of the band, during this meeting, for Seminole Student Council members, until this is settled.
Representative Parker.
Well, they can go back to the old bylaws too, and if they, chairman called the meeting, I did not call for it. And that's a lot of my, really do call by the other party, not by me.
Representative Williams.
I ask that you put that in the form of a motion.
There's a second. And motion on the floor. There's a second. We've had discussion. Representative Hill.
Well, last thing I'd like to say is that what's really strange about this whole thing is they said, she even indicated this is band business. She even said it to herself, which is true. But you as a chairman, not as a chief, but as a chairman of the 28 council members that's supposed to be here, okay? You overrule. You see, you make the decisions, okay? What person in their right frame of mind has had 2 meetings and their band wants them out? Don't they understand that the band doesn't want them? They want somebody else? Why do they still want to sit there and argue? That's the reason why our nation can move ahead, okay? Band business. You got Sergeant of Arms here, you got the Light Horseman Chief here. They have to be asked to be removed, bring the other 2 in. Hey, give them the oath, then sit down, let's move on. I mean, if they want to see, give them those 2 chairs so they can take them home with them. I have spoken.
I have a question. Willis, you said until this is settled. Now, do you have any suggestions as to if we can't settle this right here? How is it going to be settled? I mean, can you give me an example or a suggestion? How do you think it's going to be settled if it can't be settled here? I mean, it's not just pushing it down the road.
Well, I think it is, and this is me, because I believe he's on the fence. But it needs to be done correctly until we know that it's been done correctly.
I think, I hear, with that being said, with your motion, and I was there when it was discussed. It's their band, and Ms. Gonzalez said that that's their band, not our band. All right, so there is a separation right there in regards to this scenario. All right. Now we are stepping, and I fully agree with Ms. Harjo, and I'll step out there, not in response to any band in particular, but we are stepping on it very close. We're getting very close to getting into band business in this environment. No question about it. And they have in their minds, based on their bylaws have followed the procedures that they feel is necessary to remove any one of their band representatives. And Ms. Harjo spoke to their bylaws that it doesn't follow what Abraham was talking about, that it has to come back to the council to have their individuals removed. All right? So, because that is taken away. If it does, if we go into that realm, we're taking away from the autonomy of the band. And that's not our purpose here. We do not want to get into that. But we also have to respect the band's bylaws and what we represent within those. Because you understood what I stated the other night about me in particular. And it goes for everybody here, that we have the right to follow our bylaws, and if they followed it, which they have followed based on the 10 days notice, and whether they attended or did not attend. Now those, and I'm going to go back to those bylaws that they're talking about, 2015, and they say there's no other decision can be made. All right, if you got to have minutes to your bylaws or to your meetings, and you got to have a quorum to be able to make a decision, technically speaking, to be able to make those changes, or you really shouldn't have a voice on this floor. Representative.
If they're not going to voluntarily move themselves, I think they need to be escorted out, because I don't think we need to vote on whether they vote yes or no.
And this council has not declared vacancy either.
They don't have to. Don't have to. Don't have to.
Okay, yeah, I know, we're playing the word games here. You know, that's all you guys, that's why we don't move forward. You can blame everything in the world why we don't move forward.
Representative Ward. Let's go back. Representative Ward.
Just to comment first, we're getting into something that, you know, we said that we didn't want to get into. We didn't want to, we're trying to take care of business according to the protocol. And that's my,
okay.
That's my.
In regards to taking.
But my question is,
I'm going to answer you.
my question is, by what authority and from what position were you acting when you instructed procurement not to give the sitting band members a facility to meet and to recognize the Mr. Harjo's new representatives? And also the same question, excuse me, please.
That's not irrelevant. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant to where we're at right now.
And by what authority
that's
also
irrelevant.
were you trying
that's irrelevant to what we're talking
about? The secretary.
Hey, that is relevant.
I'm recognized and I'm asking a question.
No, this is not dealing with what we're talking about. Right?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
When
Because
you
what I'm fixing to do right now. Listen. Enough.
No, it's not enough.
It is enough.
It is
enough. At this particular time.
You show a little bit more respect for everybody.
If this particular time, I'm going to have them to come up and I'm going to give them the oath for their office. All right? And then you're going to have to remove from your seats. Take your second one.
I got a question for the Attorney General. Is that legal?
Yes. Excuse me, sir. You have to direct it to the chair, and then the chair will direct.
Okay. Could you ask him if that's legal?
What was the question, sir?
Is that legal, what he's attempting to do?
So he is basically saying he, as chairman of this meeting, has to determine whether or not number one is a quorum and who is properly in the band seats. He's not entering into band business. The band elects general council representatives, and the band can remove general council representatives. If there was a meeting and the quorum under the Eufaula ban is 8 members at a meeting, if there were a quorum present and they followed the procedures that were set forth in their bylaws for removing, they have the ability to remove. What the bylaws refer to is Article 9 of the Constitution. So there's 2 ways to remove somebody. The general council as a body can remove somebody on the general council. That's clear, that's in Article 9. But the band also has the ability, seeing that they elect their representatives, to remove their representatives. They have to provide those individuals with due process. They say that they have to give a statement of the charges against them at least 10 days before there is a band meeting to remove. I can only go by the information that's been presented, that procedure was followed, and that the band elected to remove those representatives and subsequently had an election for new band representatives. And that's the question that's being presented to the chairman of this body, the chief, who has to make a determination who has rightfully the seats of the follow band.
And at the end of that, doesn't it have to be them taken down? Doesn't it have to be a vote of 19 members of the council?
That's if the council has the ability to remove one of their own members, if they follow the due process requirements set forth in the Constitution, Article 9. They have to provide a statement, and it has to be first has to be a quorum of the general council present, and then a vote of that quorum to determine that there's going to be removal of a officer or a general council member. And then they provide notice to that individual at least 10 days prior to there's a hearing on that matter. And then the evidence is presented, there's a due process opportunity for the general council member to present contrary arguments. And then there's a vote on it. And if a majority of 19 members, a supermajority of 19 members of the 28 members of the general council vote to remove, they can remove a general council member or a chief or assistant chief or officer.
Hold on just a second. There is currently a motion on the floor. There was a second and there was a question. Well, there was a question called to it already. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote on the suspension of the voting rights for Eufaula Band. And then after we do that, then I'm gonna address this. Secretary, will you call roll, please?
Deanna Simpson?
No.
Anthony Conley? John Narcome?
Abstain.
Rena Tiger? Sylvia Davis? Patrick Thomas? Ida Gonzalez? Nancy Fixico? Timothy Hooper?
No.
Kelly Davis?
No.
Anita Lena?
So you vote yes for saying suspend?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Patricia Kishkatan?
Yes.
Karen Fulbright? Karen Fulbright? Dina Tiger? No. Jennifer Horn? Sina Yesla? Yes. Thomas Billy Jr.? Abraham Peroni? Susie Harjo? Natalie Harjo? No. Gregory Botal?
No.
Catherine McCoy? Charlie Hill?
Would you bluntly explain what we're voting on? I mean, I'm an elder, okay, so break it down.
What it is, it says we're going to suspend their votes until the issue is resolved.
Which votes?
The Eufaula Bands.
That's what it's getting me, because they've been removed, they haven't been sworn in, so there's no general council reps for Eufaula Bands. Who voting on those?
Until resolved.
Dang.
Fanny Harjo?
Kelsey Morrell.
Same.
Regina Langford. William Williams.
Yes.
By count of 5 yes, 8 no, 11 abstentions, I declare that measure to have failed. I'm going to ask those representatives to come up, come forward and take the oath. Okay. If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name.
Joe. I, Raimundo Gomez,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of
the office of
General Counsel Representative
General Counsel Representative
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma.
and the Constitution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Gomez, G-O-M-E-Z.
Gentlemen, I'm having Sergeant of Arms with the representatives with leave themselves in their seats.
You know that
if I
the
could-
seats have to be declared vacant?
If I can have the Sergeant of Arms, please, if you'll be removed from your seats so the new representatives can take their place.
They can't take their seat at this meeting?
Yes, they can. Yes, they
It
can.
has to
There's
be
not a
declared
vacant seat.
vacant?
Yes, it is a vacancy.
It
I am
has
not.
to be declared vacant and
Order. You need, if you can have them removed, please.
I want to
Ladies,
go on record
ladies,
as saying
ladies.
you're doing something
Ladies,
illegal
if you can-
and contrary to our Constitution.
You need to keep the galley in order, Chief. Chair.
Please, ladies, if you'll please remove your seats so the new representatives can take their seats, please.
can we have your names too?
Yeah. You'll have to get it.
All right, no threats here, no threats here.
Yeah.
Ms. Fix- Ms. Gonzalez.
All of you need to know that this could happen to you too, and it's totally illegal. And I can see Ms. Kelsey.
Step up, Mitch. Step away. guys, come on now. Due to this and due to my voice and everything in the microphone, Assistant Chief Johnson I'm gonna let him go on ahead and remain and take over as the chairman to proceed moving forward.
Dictator.
Right, in the meantime, why there's no microphone, communications, IT, hook up the small system, please. It takes 2 cords to hook up. We don't want to go all day having to project our voice and be totally without the voice as chief is.
Somebody on our arena here that doesn't belong also.
That's true, that's true. You do have to have permission of the council to be able to approach the floor. I realize your position in the band, but you do have to have permission of the council to approach the floor. Okay, while they're hooking up the system, what we'll do is we'll give them about 2 minutes, because that's all it takes to hook up a simple system like that. 2 cords, snap, snap, turn it on, you can hear it. While they're hooking it up, I want everybody to remember the rules of procedure of council meetings. I want you also to honor, when you're recognized as your band, that you stand to your feet, you keep the floor until you give it up. Do not go over an extension of time. If you speak twice, do not go over 2 minutes on your second time. And also, do not rise to the floor until you're called upon by the chair. And as well as do not talk across the floor from one representative to another, addressing each other personally or towards each other's band. So we're going to go by the rules of procedure this particular time. That's written in our code, and I want you to also honor that as well. We don't normally do strict things, but we got a lot on the agenda today, folks. We've got to get to budgets, and that's going to take a very long time. So I want you to honor that, and if you would, please.
Where's the mic? Does have to go in there. You what?
While they're finishing, it's been a difficult quarter since our last quarterly meeting. We lost 2 former officers of this body just in the last quarter. One was a 30-year term leader of this nation for the Kewasli Band. The other sat as a temporary council secretary at a time when we most drastically needed a council secretary. And I want to just at this time in honor of those passing of those representatives that were officers of this body to have just a short moment of silence in their memory. That would be Jacqueline Wilito and also Jonah Harjo. So at this time, we'll take a moment of silence. You can stand, reflect on them during this time of moment of silence, and then we'll continue the business of the General Council. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you very much for allowing that. Okay, we're in unfinished reading of the minutes of the last meeting, General Council Standing Call meeting of January 26, 2019. Do I have a motion? I entertain a motion. Motion to approve. Second. Any corrections? We'll go to vote. Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Simpson?
Yes.
Anthony Conley?
Yes.
John Narcome?
Yes.
Rita Tiger?
Yes.
Sylvia Davis?
Yes.
Patrick Thomas?
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez?
Abstain.
Jeff Harjo?
Abstain.
Timothy Hooper?
Yes.
Kelly Davis?
Yes.
Anita Lena?
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton?
Yes.
Karen Fulbright?
Yes.
Dina Tiger?
Yes.
Dina Yesla?
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr.?
Yes.
Abraham Perani?
Yes.
Susie Harjo? Natalie Harjo?
Yes.
Gregory Botow?
Yes.
Catherine McCoy?
Yes.
Charlie Hill? Fanny Harjo? Kelsey Morrell?
Yes.
Regina Langford?
Yes.
William Williams?
Yes.
With a count of 23 yeas, 0 noes, 2 abstentions, I declare that measure to have passed. We're in unfinished business at this time. We have TO 2018-1006, sponsored by Representative Votaw.
TO 2018-06, an ordinance of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, amending section 501 of the General Council Code of the Seminole Nation, codified at Title 16 of the Seminole Nation Code of Law. Ask for a second.
Call for a question.
Second, there was a call for Christian, but there's always room for discussion when there is a motion and a second made. If there's no discussion, then we'll go directly to the question. No discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Simpson?
TO 2018-06. It's on your agenda, and you should have also had it.
Anthony Conley? John Archie?
No.
Rena Tiger? No. Sylvia Davis?
No.
Patrick Thomas? Raimundo Gomez? Jeff Harjo?
Yes.
Timothy Hooper?
No.
Kelly Davis? Anita Lena?
No.
Patricia Kishkaton?
No.
Karen Fulbright?
No.
Dina Tiger?
No.
Dina Yesla?
No.
Thomas Billy Jr.?
No.
Abraham Perani?
No.
Susie Harjo?
No.
Natalie Harjo?
Yes.
Gregory Botow?
Yes.
Catherine McCoy?
Yes.
Charlie Hill?
Yes.
Fanny Harjo?
Yes.
Kelsey Morrell?
Yes.
Regina Langford? William Williams?
No.
With a count of 8-6, 18 noes, 0 abstention, I declare that measure to have failed. According to the written document of the council secretary, 8 yes, 18 no, 0 abstention. Therefore, I declare that measure to have failed. TR 217-16, sponsored by Representative Narcomi. Representative Narcomi, what is it that you wish to do with this at this time?
Short answer, we'll keep table.
No, you can't. It's on the table. Okay, there's no debate. Okay, I have no question. You can ask them, after the meeting. TR 2018-59, sponsored by Representative Votal.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move this to after the budget, get that discussion.
Representative Votal asked that it will be removed when we address the comprehensive budget.
No, that it be moved to after, in order.
Oh, after?
Yes, sir, because it pertains to the FY19 budget.
Okay, okay. Is there any objections to it being moved after the budget's addressed? There's no objections? Then that particular item will follow in the order that the representative requested. Okay, TR 2019-07. This is also sponsored by Representative Narcomi.
I'm going to move this off the table and move for a vote. I'm welcome any questions at this point. What I would like to do is I'd like to amend my own resolution here because apparently there was confusion that this was a resolution to go ahead and authorize moving 110 miles per hour into this area, and it's not. All this resolution does is to authorize the Attorney General to create a set of laws for us to guide ourselves by before we consider entering into this arena. So if I would like ask the Attorney General to go on ahead and remove any sort of wording that might hint that this authorizes the nation to charge at light speed into this. All we're doing is trying to create a set of laws and policies to guide our entrance into this line.
Chairman needs a motion to move in that effect in a second. I entertain a motion. Okay. Did you make the first motion?
Yes.
You said you would bring it off the table with your amendments.
With my amendments.
Okay. And who was the second again? Okay. Okay. Any discussion? Representative Hill, Tallahassee.
Mr. Chairperson, upon reading this and all that, okay, pertaining to Mr. Narcomi's resolution, he indicated that it was to create tribal codes and all that from the AG, okay? However, if you read the first part, it's combined. It says the tribal resolution, Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, authorizing the cultivation of industrial hemp, okay? So where does that play into the resolution?
You put it in the law, it authorizes the cultivation of it within the law. If that law, when it comes to this floor as a tribal law and ordinance, actually does pass.
It'll be combined put together as one.
Right. And I think what Mr. Narcomi was trying to be clarified on is that it allows the tribal members who have restricted lands to choose, as other Oklahoma citizens have the right, to cultivate that particular cash crop if they so desire. Whether the nation enters into something of that nature, that's totally up to the nation and their economic development team. They can not even entertain it. but it's basically given the rights to Seminoles who have restricted land because they have to have regulatory regulations to govern that, or they will be left out because the state has not the jurisdiction on restricted Indian land. And that's the basis, I think, of what Mr. Narkey was trying to explain. So, any other questions? Motion second with the amended language to be added into that. We have a call for question. Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley, John Markey,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Sylvia Davis,
No.
Patrick Thomas,
Abstain.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeff Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena, Patricia Kishkaton, Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Dina Tiger, Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr.,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo, Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botow,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill,
No.
Fanning Harjo,
No.
Kelsey Morrell, Regina Langford, William Williams,
Yes.
With a count of 16 yes, 9 noes, 1 abstention, I declare that measure to have passed. Attorney General, you maybe get in contact with the sponsor of that bill, Representative Narkey, as well read up on the farm bill that recently passed in December of 2018. That includes Native American tribes. Given to the states in this particular instance. Okay, we're under reports of the committees. I saw Tom Palmer's hand first, and Jessica Harjo. Tom Palmer?
VCR.
Okay.
I actually need the screening if
Is Mr. Tim Brown, the attorney for the VCR, is he present? That's who's being called at this time. As well as they're making their way up, if White Horse or anyone back there that's Richard, McCulley, I see you back there. Could you kind of look and see if there's a stool? My height standing, it'd be good if I had a stool instead of a chair. This stool here. Is that a stool? Yeah, I'll take that stool. Thank you. We got one. I appreciate it, fellas. Well, it's not really a stool, but if you find one that's a little higher, okay, I'll do it.
It's got to do with this race.
All right. Okay, Tom Palmer, you still have the floor.
I have 2 questions. I just want to know how the embezzlement charges are going. And I know the employees were going to get charged, but are the ones that wrote the checks getting charged too?
Okay, is that on? Can you hear me? So the investigation, I've been told that it's complete and that they have, and they are, is the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office is not going to update the VCR on this. The only reason I know is because I know people at the U.S. Attorney's Office. My understanding is that the case has been handed over to Courtney Jordan, And Courtney used to be one of the AGs, assistant AGs under Mike McBride. And she had left and went to, she's working for Cherokee Nation now, and she is serving as they call it SASA, which is a Special Assistant U.S. Attorney. I do not know what the status of it is. The BCR will not ever know what the status of it is until it's published in the newspaper. And so the AG is going to be the primary source for reaching out to the U.S. Attorney's Office to find out, is this case being moved forward? And that's all, unfortunately, all the information that I have. I know that that's not the answer that you want, but that's generally just the way investigative bodies work. They don't like to give out information.
I saw Siga's hand, and then we'll come back to Tom Palmer, then newcomer.
Mine was not for them. I was going to call somebody else.
Oh, you were going to call somebody? Okay. Tom Palmer, Ms. Harjo?
I just wanted to ask them, did you say that we need to address the Attorney General instead of your office or you?
I didn't say you need, I said if you have questions about the investigation, I would direct you to the Attorney General's office. They can reach out to the U.S. Attorney's office.
That's what I thought you said, that you didn't want us to ask you.
No, you can ask me all you want. I'm just telling you that we're not getting updates.
But we're not getting any answers, so we need to Attorney General. Thank you.
Put that there, focus it there, turn it up, please.
Sir, you're in charge.
I'm in charge? Am I in charge or are you in charge?
Newcomer, and then Tallahassee.
Yes, I'd like to know how we're doing on the oil and gas tax, that coming along.
Not a lot's changed since I gave you the update at last council meeting. We're still currently on hold pending that Supreme Court decision that could further our jurisdictional area, but it's still improving. So it's slightly surpassed the $2 million mark. Keep in mind that when we grew over 9, that grew over 3 since 2014 to date. So we are actively processing permits, leasing permits, and operator permits. So that's good. That's something that we collected those fees, and those are actually put in a separate oil and gas tax process.
And that's reported in the report, but, so, what is going through court? I mean, what exactly are they?
You don't want Murphy? I mean, I'm sure that most of the people here have heard of the Murphy versus Governor case. And so I think that's what she's referring to. That case has been heard. We're just waiting on the U.S. Supreme Court's decision. It should be coming out any day. It could be tomorrow, it could be Monday, it could be a month from now. At the latest, it would be June 30th. I do not expect it to be June 30th because they're still hearing cases and they still have to come out with decisions on those cases.
Thank you.
Tallahassee. As you speak up here, hand the microphone to whoever's addressing the council.
Mr. Chairperson, if you recall, the last council meeting that we had, when the AG was here, I brought up that question pertaining to what Ms. Kelsey brought up. She indicated that she would get with the Light Horse Police Chief, David Lilwin, the following week, and they said they would bring it back to the floor today to give us an update. However, since AG's out, I believe the Light Horse Police Chief was here earlier. But do you remember that, or does anyone remember? She said that she would get with him next week, and the following council meeting will give you an update.
Although the AG is not present at this time, actually, Assistant AG is. He's probably not privy to that particular information. The young lady probably is, because she works a little bit closer with Ms. Tiger. Do you have any comment on that?
Which case are we talking about? Is the only case
I believe the reference in the DCR.
the only case that the U.S. Attorney has sent to us is this Branham case. And that's the only case I have on.
According to what she just said, the only thing, that information that has been sent from the U.S. Attorney's Office is actually the Brannon case, which actually is not this particular case.
I'll reach out to the AG and let her know who at the U.S. Attorney's Office that she can at least make contact with, and then they can either tell her they have no comment or they can.
No, I'm just bringing it up, you want.
Right, and I want to help. I don't want you to think that I don't want to help you and answer your questions. Just telling you that they're not going to, if the BCR calls up there, they're not going to answer our questions.
Any other questions for BCR? There's no other further questions? Jessica Harjo.
Well, Mr. Deathridge has something to say.
Gaming agency. Mr. Deathridge, approach the floor, please. All right, Chief Gaming Officer. Good.
Hello, I'm Rudy Montana Jr. I'm the Chief Gaming Regulator with the Gaming Agency, so if you have any questions, please ask, but be nice to me, please.
Representative Tom Palmer.
My man just wanted to know, are you guys up to date on the fines that were about a few years ago?
The NIGC fines?
Yeah.
Yes, the Gaming Enterprise paid that off. It was around the middle of July of last year.
Any other questions for the gaming agency? Mr. Deathridge has some comments.
In your package, you received this quarterly report from the gaming agency. I would encourage every council representative to look at the reports that you receive from our organization, Enterprise, any other organization. I've just given a report. I printed one off from the BCR just last evening. I received a report from the BCR. I don't know why my name's on that, but I received a report from the BCR. Excellent report from the BCR. No one commented on that. Maybe y'all didn't see that same report that I did, but it's an excellent report from the BCR. This report right here talks about several things that have happened as of late with our gaming enterprise, SNGE. 3 years ago, Seminole Nation received an NOV, Notice of Violation from the NIGC, National Indian Gaming Commission. We received an NOV, says we're in trouble, says we were incompetent. We couldn't do our business. We didn't know what we were doing. And instead of giving us a fine, what they did, they put us on a 3-year plan. We're beginning in the 3rd year of those sanctions. One of those things was making certain that the SNGE was spending their money properly and that there were some financial situations. And so we, in the last 2 years, we have really stepped up our game on the agency side as the regulatory side and making certain that the SNGE is being held accountable. Again, if y'all haven't looked at those reports, Rudy noted that this year that the SNGE from FY17, we're not into 19 yet, but FY17, it showed this amount. FY18, it showed this amount on their financials. It had some findings in FY17. Those findings have been resolved for FY18. Hopefully they'll be continued to be resolved in FY19. But on the financial side, it shows that the SNGE is 6% better in FY18 than it was in FY17. So they've made some drastic moves and changes in their organization that is bringing extra revenue to the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Don't know, again, whether y'all see that. But as a commissioner, we have 42 employees. SNG has 160 employees. Both of us, the SNGA and the SNGE, have been asked to turn in FY19 budget that shows 0% increase for all of our employees. Personally, I think that it's unfair. Personally, I think that. And the reason I say that is because the two funding agencies that we receive money from, which is the BCR and the SNGE, both show that there is adequate funding for our employees to receive a raise at the SNGA. Our organization, the SNGA, we have an evaluation of our employees. Every employee at the agency is brought in and filled out forms, and they're evaluated by their supervisors. Based on that evaluation, they can either receive 0 raise or up to 3% raise. No more than that. If there's more than that, then it has to be a very, very, very good reason for that. So, again, if the funding agencies that we receive money from both show an increase in adequate amount, I don't know personally why our employees are being penalized, and that's what I say. I'll use that word, and y'all may not agree with it, but it's just that kind of a deal. I think that we deserve that raise because our employees are evaluated. I don't know how other organizations do. I don't know what the SNGE evaluates their employees, but I know this, that we do, and we're doing a great job. So I'm bragging on us. That's the only one I can brag on right now, other than the fact that the SNGE is doing something over there that's bringing in 6% more money for the Seminole Nation this past year than they did 2 years ago. So it's that kind of thing. So that's where I'm at on this thing right here, is that I encourage the council to look at the reports, read those. I see that Ms. Harjo over there, she's got a whole booklet of stuff right there, you know, so one time she said that her machine didn't work. This little poor thing right here didn't work, so she receives them in the mail, in person, whatever. Still don't. There you go. But she sits there and she reads those. She checks that stuff, you know, and I encourage everybody to do that. So the more informed you are, the better the organization, the Seminole Nation, will function going down the road, because we need to move forward. We've made some mistakes in the past. We've made some blunders, I'll just tell you. This administration inherited a lot of those. Some of those are self-inflicted right now, but they inherited a lot of those. But we need to move forward as a body.
Mr. Deathridge, is what you're speaking on included in this particular budget that's going to be addressed this afternoon?
Hopefully. No, in answer to that question,
we have the process of placing budgets for approval before the council, correct?
Yes.
I appreciate you as a commissioner standing up for your employees. So. Okay. Any other questions?
I wanted to ask, it is my understanding that you're the only commissioner at this time?
Yes,
Are you still the only commissioner?
I am the only commissioner that we have. Several names have been brought before this body. Some of those names that have been brought before y'all probably didn't deserve recognition.
Just answer the question.
Oh, excuse me. The council has denied every request that has been brought before.
That's not what the question is. Are you the only commissioner?
I answered that.
Okay. That's all you need.
Okay, I think at the last meeting, we requested that some names be submitted to help him. And so I think for sure, our next meeting, we should have some names up there of commissioners to help him.
Thank you.
You know, and maybe if he's doing such a good job now, that he'll do even a better job.
I got one more thing. I got one more thing to say. And in response to some of that, next year, the state compact with the state of Oklahoma involving how much money they want from fast-food gaming, it expires next year. This April 6th and the 7th at Shawnee, the Oklahoma Tribal Gaming Regulators Association is having a spring conference. I have asked Rudy, and we basically agreed that we would like to invite two council representatives for a day session. It will cost us $300 to have two council representatives to attend a day session in Shawnee and one of the subject matters at that conference is going to be the state compact. So the more you know, the better the whole flow will work. So we will figure out a way and to invite 2 representatives, one from one band, one from another band, not just 2
I
from...
accept the invitation.
It'll be a drawing. It'll be a drawing. That's how gaming way. We'll pull this panel down.
I volunteer.
Newcomer?
Thank you, Willis, for giving us that information on employees and I agree. You know, if you're doing a good job, you should be rewarded for it. Some people get rewarded and they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
They just have to be a friend of something. But anyway, when is the last time that they received a raise?
Our employees, they received a raise in 2018, excuse me, 2018. So this 2019, this budget, this upcoming budget is, we've had to turn in a budget that showed 0 raises for us as well as S&G and do the very same thing.
So you're asking that go before.
I'm looking out for S&GA today.
Representative Arjo?
Willis, can you send me your report? Just email it to me, please.
Yeah.
There's no other questions for S&GA? This time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Tom Palmer. Princess Committee. I'm going to ask a consensus of the council at this time. 6-5, and the heat rises. Would you be objective if I would stand over to the side? Would that be fine? It's awful hot up here.
It's not that good too. You smoke?
Princess Committee, come on up. Thank you. I'm not vacating the seat, I'm just moving.
Can you turn it down?
Good morning. Did you pick me, babe? Good. Well, this morning we have one absent, that is Danita Holanda. We will excuse her from our committee today. The rest of us are here, and we're here to answer questions, so hopefully you'll give us praise anyway. So anyway, I will introduce, or we will have the young girls to introduce themselves first.
Stungo Jaha Jipkida Marissa Alberson Doas, Chaskegi Jeremy Josie Alberson Doatis, Amalegada Kachogi Doas, Mo Amadoa Tom Palmer Doas, Migo Subko Chogo Cold Springs Church Abidos, Chogo Thought Ko Isi Lana Bi Adios Mado. Hello, my name is Marissa Alberson. I'm the daughter of Josie and Jeremy Alberson. I'm Tiger Clan and Tom Palmer Band. I come from Cold Springs Church and Greenleaf Ceremonial Ground. And I'm the 2018-2019 Junior Miss Seminole Nation. Thank you.
Hinshe Estongo Chahajifkudos Malena Zeri White Killer. Mo Amadawa Katsudoas Amalegada Tesakia Harjaban. Madel. Hi, my name is Malena Zeri White Killer. I'm 12 years old. I'm part of the Tiger Clan and a member of the Tesakia Harjo Band. I'm the 2018-2019 Little Miss Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Thank you.
George of the Belmacocatus, excuse me. Amalegada, Nobusi Doan, Amadawa, newcomer, Hediazapi. I've served on the committee for several years, and I've enjoyed it. all through the times. And I'm really enjoying the girls this year as well as the ones in the past. We, the committee, have tried our best to do what we can. And now I turn this over to the
Hi, I'm Gina Langford. I'm the treasurer for the committee. I worked with the committee years ago and just recently got back on it maybe 2-3 years ago. So far, we're trying our best, like she says. So I hope you guys will kind of understand our situation and kind of help support them.
Okay.
Okay, I seen Tallahassee, then Tom Palmer. It's don't go on. Şimdi Regina, una tizari burala. That means, how about you, Regina? Do you speak in our language?
No.
No. Okay. I know you have to be sorry about it, okay? There's a lot of them don't speak here anyway. But anyway, getting back to what I was going to ask you, okay? I'd just like to make a suggestion for the upcoming September of this year pertaining to next Seminole Nation Days of Miss Princess, you know. It's fine to hear the 4 princesses that we have that memorize the same thing, okay? My name is so-and-so, my band is so-and-so, I belong to what clan, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, okay? But pertaining to the judges, okay, we seem to have the same judges every year. Is there any way we can go about getting elders from the Seminole Nation that are more familiar with tribal customs, have them on there? Reason why? Maybe 2-3 years ago, the same judges you had allowed one of the princes to compete and all that, and had another fellow with him playing the guitar, etc., and that's what you call a duet. Our custom is one, to go up there and perform, and be shown what they can do, okay? We had 2. Technically, that was illegal. I don't think back 40-50 years ago we had guitars down there in the state of Florida playing guitars, and there's a princess there, you know? See, things like that. That's why we need elderly people to be seen and to judge. Okay, I said, am I saying something right? She said, yes, you are.
Yeah. However, last year we did have one person that was fluently. Miss Rosetta Pepworth was our elder, and she speaks very well. So this year we will again to get at least one for our judges, because I know the years before a lot of them didn't speak as I spoke to them. Then I found out that they didn't really understand or could speak. But this last year we did try to get those that we can, and we will ask, you know, whomever that knows the custom and the tradition of our tribe.
Tom Palmer.
Our question was, what are you guys doing to get girls to run? Because I know our numbers are slowly dying.
Well, this year we've talked among our committee. We are planning to go out to the schools and try to promote our young ladies to compete. We will go from the 12 schools in Seminole County and hopefully reach out to the media, social media, on advertising how much we want the young ladies to run. And as for our senior miss, you know, for the last 2 years, we haven't had one. And I know there's ladies out here now that are 55 plus. And, you know, it would be nice if you all, or any of you, would, you know, run for senior miss. We're already dying out, but there's a few of us left. And if you would, you know, when that time comes, put your applications in. The applications will be distributed probably sometimes next week. So we're trying to get things started early so that the girls, the ladies, will get all their stuff prepared by the time we have our first practice. So we are going to go out to the schools or wherever we can go. I know that it's not good to ask or present in the church, but, you know, at little functions we might be able to spread the word. And you all can help us too. You know, you have granddaughters, daughters, maybe aunts that can run. You know, have them to come and see us or get that application. They're at the complex. But we will let people know when they're ready. It's ready. We've got them ready. But they will be on the desk sometimes next week.
Newcomer?
Yes.
What is the age group for the elders and the qualifications?
And what?
The age group and qualifications for elders?
For the elders, age 55 plus, we will not deny any ladies that wants to run. They must be fluent. But as you all can see, and we all know, that our language is beginning to go down. If they can just introduce themselves, I know you get tired of hearing us introduce, but some of the other tribes do the same as well. And the qualification is that she must, you know, if she can speak Seminole Creek, because we both speak the same, little words different. And if they're able to stand before the people and speak, you know, don't be shy. We're all shy too. But, and that is one of the main, of the custom and the language as well as the others. And you parents need to teach your kids because it comes from them. The little ones can learn, but what about mommy and daddy? Some of us grandparents can't speak either, but doggone it, try. Yeah.
Newcomer?
I have more of a comment than a question for the junior bill. I am honored that you went down to Florida and represented very well. I saw your photos, love your dresses. Even got word back from some family members down there how well you represented. I just want to find out, did you fund yourself? Did you get any money from the fundraisers that were done? Did you have a chaperone go with you?
I did receive money to go down there, but most of the stuff I did pay for. I stayed on the reservation, Big Cypress Reservation. My family, we had a fundraiser to be able to pay for the cabin. A lot of the expenses I did pay for myself.
Your dad went, right?
Yes, he did go. I stayed around Wanda Bowers, which is their princess committee. So she told me a lot what to do, where to go. So, but other than that, I stayed with the girls down there and they kind of showed me where to go, where to be. And I wasn't required to stay with them at all times, but I did have a good time. And it was an amazing experience, and thank you for your comments.
Okay. All right, I think it's allowable time there.
Pero,
Thank you.
Let's let them know our appreciation for the representation of the Seminole. Okay, we're still in committees. Palmer, and then Pacheco, and then.
You don't know me no more.
No, don't do that.
Enterprise, gaming enterprise.
Gaming Enterprise.
My name's Billy Dan. I'm the general manager for the Gaming Enterprise.
Palmer.
There's a few things. First, I'm gonna start with the bad. Rumor has it when employees come with you with problems, you tell them that they're lucky that they have a job. That's one of the things that I've heard.
No, I have not said that.
Okay. How is the progress with the new building. And is there gonna be a laundromat inside of it?
For the Wewoka building?
Yes.
No, as of this time, I don't think it's gonna have the laundry facility in it. Right now, the only drawings we have the casino and the C-store. And we're trying to finalize that. We've got the drawings that we'd like, and now we're working on the cost. Trying to work out what the cost is going to be so that we can go and look for ways to fund it.
And then on intertribal, do you guys pay for them? Is that something you guys pay for them to travel?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And who do you turn to, like, as your boss?
Chief.
Okay. Is there any time there's a separation of power, like, that you just handle it by yourself, or you go to chief every time?
If it's day-to-day business, I try to handle that because I feel that that's the role I'm in, and a lot of times I will discuss things with senior leadership. But if there are things that are of sensitive nature or a lot of employment issues, I do speak with chief about.
Okay. And I would like to request the salaries and the budget, if you can get that to me.
The ones that are listed in the budget?
The salaries too, like your employee salaries.
Like by each individual?
Yes, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for gaming enterprise? You follow that?
I just have a quick question from you. We have 3 casinos. How are the casinos doing? Like, for instance, River Mist, Wewoka, I-40, are they just making even, or each one of them making a profit? How are things going?
No, they're doing better than last year. River Mist is doing quite well compared to it has been over the years. And so we're taking a lot of pride in that. We've done more advertising for River Mist towards the Ada area. We've added different games to the casino floor that's helped because we had players at one of those higher renowned games. So River Mist is doing really well, but all 3 are doing well.
Are you still using PPG?
No, we are not. No, it's been over a year since we've used PPG.
Representative Markham, Chiota. To expound a little bit on Representative Morel's comment, question, over the past few weeks, each council member has received, and I have in front of me 3 notes from various employees, and expounded on issues that they're personally having with their treatment or processes at the casino. And while this is not the proper forum to get into any of that, my question is simple. Is this an issue? Because if we have, the general counsel receives 1 complaint from an employee, we could maybe chalk it up to a disgruntled employee. 2, it becomes a concern. But we have 3 in front of us. So the question begs to be asked, is this a problem?
I only know of 1, and I've addressed the issues in the 1, some of the issues. But that's the only one I know of.
Oh. I'm just...
I understand.
Okay.
No, I understand.
I failed to call on Bruner earlier. Bruner and then Miccosukee.
No, I was wanting, I didn't know that she was included because I want to call in
Another committee?
Yes.
Okay, Miccosukee?
I just want to follow up on the same thing. I've also received another grievance that was actually filed against you, and you have been informed of that. And I don't know the process of that and how it goes, and so, and I just wanted to know what are we gonna do? Because we said we needed a committee in place, and we needed a grievance committee, but there has been a recent one that come within the past couple of weeks, as well as, same thing, receiving another letter from another employee. What are we gonna do to take care of this?
Sure. Chief, you want to comment on that?
In regards to the grievance process, yes, in any business, whether it be, so the grievance process, whether it be with any business or any of our LLCs or any of those fundamental operating LLCs like that, all right, you have your representative that you entrust to be in that position. All right, now if they do not have a board, like gaming does not have a board. Oh, and speaking of that, just real quick, y'all made a comment about that in your last meeting, but I want to touch base on this because in the code, it does not speak to a board being in the code in Title 8, even though y'all said y'all just pulled the individuals away, but the board still exists. But in the code, it does not exist for gaming enterprise. So I just want y'all to be aware of that. But the grievance would come to Ms. Dan, then would come to me. If the grievance then comes to me, if I look at it and I evaluate it, then I'm going to visit with Ms. Dan about how we need to proceed with the grievance and how we want to address that. Because Ms. Dan and I both have discussed many different things over a period of time in regards to those issues.
Tom Palmer.
Chair, Tom Palmer Band, you know, from time to time has received a lot of information or complaints in regard to Miss Dan. And every time we get her up here, she always stands up there with her smug little face and smiles around, and then she gets to sit down and nothing else is said. You know, what we want to know is where do these complaints go? Do they just go in file 13, or where do they go? You know, does she get reprimanded at any time, or who reprimands her?
Because
because she was going through a time period that she was firing Seminole tribal members left and right, and Seminole tribal members are our priority. You know, and I feel like that she's got to honor that. You know, she's lucky she's here. You know, and I heard that's what she said to some of our former employees that are no longer there. But you know, I thoroughly resent, you know, our people being treated like that. That's what I'm here for, to speak up for them. So that's what I'm doing.
As the principal chief in the code is the direct supervisor of the gaming manager, although the executive branch is including some aspects of the enterprise, which includes the office of the assistant chief as well. I'll ask that chief will answer your question, since he's the one who deals with the enterprise on a daily basis.
Stand in front of her. We want to see her.
Well, I'll let him answer. Chief, I was trying for convenient not have you come down to the floor, but since I am the chair still, if you would, just come on down to the floor. I know it's your voice, but not your legs. That's just.
In regards to the heat, if you could sit down, it wouldn't touch your head. All right, in regards to Ms. Harjo, all right, any of these things that come through, nobody has been, this is where I'm a little bit confused here on this. When I was at Sindoc, all right, we're not trying to pick on anybody, even including me. I sit in this position that I've been elected to sit in. Ultimately, our ultimate goal is to improve how we work, even as tribal members, because I want the best for our tribal members. No question. Hands down, that's what I want. But we all have a responsibility that we have to follow in regards to how we operate, how we work within those parameters. That's why they have an HR, that's why they have those policies and procedures in place. That there is a responsibility for that. And that's all that's being asked. There's not anybody in particular that's being picked on or pulled out or handled in a certain way that will show them in a negative light. That's not our purpose. That's not our intent here at all. If they have a grievance and a grievance is brought forth, it will at some point, if it doesn't get to if it's a downline, it goes to their next individual. Then it goes to the follow-up, the higher-up. Then it would go to Miss Dan. At some point, if it gets to Miss Dan and it's of that nature, then it will come to my desk. And then I address that. Yes, ma'am.
But, sir, what I don't understand is the fact that that Miss Dan is a part of the issue and she gets to hear that employee. You know, to me, that would be very intimidating to me if I had to go to somebody that I'm complaining about and she's part of the issue. You know, so that's why it was said that maybe we needed to have a grievance committee or something, someone that those people could go to, you know, when they don't have anybody to air their, vent out their complaints to.
Okay, in regards to resolving your resolution, because when this decision was made to begin with, to put it underneath me, I was against that. Personally, when I was sitting in the crowd, and it was, because I knew how it was brought up then. It was brought up with gaming agency and gaming enterprise on the same resolution. Can't do that, knew that from the beginning. All right, it doesn't really technically need to be underneath me. What needs to happen is what they suggested and what Ms. Yesler suggested at the last meeting. The problem is that we have with that now is that in the code, which it's always been like that, doesn't express having a board for the gaming enterprise. So we need to change that in that language so that there can be a board put in place to implement, because I'd be all for that. Because that would give them their end stop to be able to bring grievances. Because when he hits the board, that would be it. See? It would still go to Billy Dan, but it would go to the board, and then the board could, if they wanted to address that, then they could kill it. They didn't want to.
All we're asking, or all I feel like that we're asking is for a place for them to go to. And that it's our duty to provide that place for them to go to.
Then I would,
somebody that they can talk to that is neutral and not, you know, in the field themselves, you know.
Right.
So
and
that's what we're asking.
Then I would agree.
We would like to see it in place before next meeting.
Well, we have to change the code, though. The code's the problem, Fanny. The code's the problem. And then once we can, at the next meeting, we can address changing that legislative body to add that into the language in Title 8. So that can be handled. Representative Gill.
Now, hold on. Chair, Chair recognizes the Watley, then to us.
Thank you. I kind of want to piggyback off of what Fanny has been saying. I'm sorry, Representative Other Joe. My question is this, is what is the procedure for, if I have people that are under me and they want to grieve against me, then I should recuse myself from that and send it through the HR, then HR bypasses me since the grievance is on me. Is that how it works?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I've advised HR that if anything has me in it, I don't hear about it at all. It does not come to me, it goes straight to Chief.
So that's why I want to clarify, because Chief just said that it goes to Billy Dan and then it comes to me. So that's where I wanted to clarify that, because that shouldn't happen.
Right.
So if I want to grieve against you, it shouldn't go to
Good
you. And you say, okay, I'll send it to my boss, and then you just shred it.
Well, it's just
We
like,
don't want that happening.
well, it's just like, and this is a prime example of this. What's coming up in future legislation or future vote here on the floor, even though I'm not sitting in that seat, but if that was the case, I was going to recuse myself at that particular time. See? Because it's not the right thing to do for me to be able to have some play to vote in on that. That's the exact reason.
And what do you do if by chance somebody slips you that grievance?
That hasn't,
That's on you.
I would send it either to HR or to Chief.
Okay, and so you're not going to those employees?
No, no, not at all. No, and that's, whether you want to believe it, that's not how I work. It really is not, because it's not fair to treat people like that, so no. I would give it to someone else and not want to be involved.
And I'm going to engage on something here now that I just want you to understand one thing. We've had some serious problems with gaming enterprise leading up to this. For years, we had $11.some million fine that we had to pay back over a time period. But I'm going to tell you what, in regards to that, they didn't say this earlier, nor did this get discussed, but the audit that they received this year was very, very good in regards, I just want to throw that out there, because they've been doing a really exceptional bang-up job as far as the way they've been doing the reporting. Because it's necessary, because we've always been behind the 8 ball. And the auditor, Whipley, made the comment that they had increased their revenue by 6% based on the numbers that they saw. And the reporting is so much better compared to what it was previously, because the changes that were made before were necessary to make because we were going south again after we dealt with NIGC.
Is that
not because we?
Chair recognizes Tallahassee,
Okay.
then Tom Palmer, newcomer, back to Bluff.
Hey, okay, well, this ain't really towards you there, Chief. Miss Dan, I'm not standing up here to be a public defender or anything like that, okay? In the position as yourself, as a director, everything always has to be negative. You never hear the positive side, okay? I'm gonna tell you the reason what's going on with Seminole Nation, okay, why all these people are complaining. Y'all have too many relatives working at other places and all that, telling each other this and that, but they don't like you. That's the reason why, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you something about Miss Dan. I'm not siding with these people. If they got something against you with it, that's on them, okay? This is my choice, okay? There was a lady that was working for you up there at River Miss and all that, and had another relative working in another department, passed the information, which was what you call confidentiality. They're supposed to sign the form and all that. I'll call you personally, you answer my phone, I told you what transpired, you handled the matter very well, okay? And then not only that, Mr. Dethridge was up here, Willis Dethridge, I believe that's his name, and he's talking about you got like 160 some odd employees working for you, and the other people got like 80. You must be doing something good to those people that are still working. Because now they would have been 80-80.
Not all of them.
And then not only that, there was another incident that occurred at that little wagon down here. We woke, what do you call it, that trailer? Yeah. There's a young man that had heart problems off that. He had heart problems. He worked 3 days, and finally he asked your supervisor at work. They gave him time off to go to Ada to be seen, all that. They gave him 2 days off, okay, after they took care of him. He asked me, what you might call him, my boss and all that, okay? Instead of going to him, I called you. And then you talked to that man there, and they gave him 5 more days off, which was good. And then another incident that occurred at I-40 Casino. This so-called individual, suppose it was terminated or whatever, and when you check his track record, okay, he should have been fired a long time ago. He come to work when he gets ready, leaves when he gets ready, etc. But everything is what you call family related. Somebody don't like you, they will tell their family, they're going to run with it, okay? That's the trouble with our nation, okay? You don't have facts. But as far as I know, you're doing okay so far. The only thing I had a beef with you was this. I called you 3 days ago. If y'all don't know, I-40 Casino, which is up here north of here, there's a big old sign that sits out there next to her big old building there. That thing's been black for some time, okay? Have any of y'all took the time to call, find out what was going on? 28 council members, very concerned of word, no money being brought in. You just drive by, they look and keep going. Guess what? I took the time to check, okay? And I called her. The reason why that thing is black, there's no lights flashing at night or daytime, 24/7, is because it needs to be repaired. It's going to cost $300,000 to be repaired, okay? She doesn't have that kind of money right now, and she's trying to negotiate. Well, we spoke about it, and she's going to get one a little bit smaller than what's up there, because she asked me, how do you feel as a general counsel rep? Should I repair that, get parts in? I said, no. It's like an old shoe, okay? If it falls apart, don't fix it, go get a new one. So she said she would look into buying a new one, a little bit smaller one, okay? So that way there'd be, we call it sign saying, Charlie Hill's in here playing casino. But anyway, thank you, and you're doing a very good job coming from me, okay? But
No clapping in the gallery. It's not allowed. It's not allowed under our rules. So please, I know you get excited. Please honor the rules. Tom Palmer, newcomer, you're welcome. And then nothing. Tom Palmer, you had something earlier? Newcomer.
Wow, next time I get sick, I need to call in, I'll get Charlie to call. He can call in for me. Will you get me 3 days off?
Do not address council representatives by the name, please.
But, yeah, I've been thinking, you know, I want to be called. Yeah, we got the same letter, you know, and I think my concern was, I don't know this person. I don't know any of these people that send these letters out. And I don't know if you're privy to them or not, excuse me. But I am just hoping that our people are getting taken care of, because we've had a lot of tribal employees with our their jobs, not just in gaming, but at the administration, that were very well qualified. And that took us a good hit. We're suffering from it right now. And I hope these employees do have a fair shake, say.
No, and I understand the concerns. I mean,
Yeah.
we want to employ any Seminole tribal member that wants to work. Quite honestly, we want to. And what we've also done, like with the grievance process, the state's general manager goes, directly to HR, then to chief. But we've also are developing an employee advocate within the HR department, and we have new team members in HR, so we think that we can really make sure that this is a person or a position that can go and hold the confidence of the team members and then take those concerns to the appropriate people. And it's not someone who directly reports to me. It's someone that can go and try to ensure that it's a fair process. It's something we've been working on for months, and now that we have someone new in place, we think it could be successful.
Yeah, because, like I said, we've lost a lot of good people. I know the weather's been bad. One of them, they can't get to work because of the weather, the schools are closed. You have stuff that's implemented in that situation. I know gaming's 24/7. Or I guess it's 24/7 over there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it something is implemented where the weather's bad and they just can't get to work, or they got kids at home that they have to stay home because their kids, because of the weather and stuff? I know people got live and stuff like that. Is that worked in with your employees, or do you just cut and dry and say, no, you don't come, then you're out?
No, I think what people need to understand is that we have an attendance policy, and it's steps. So you don't just get terminated for calling in one day. If you do get terminated because you did call in, it's because there were multiple call-ins before that.
Regardless of what the reason was that day?
Correct. Honestly, we're in this industry. If we have all the guests, or all of our team members call in, then we don't have anyone to service the guests. So we do have an attendance policy that we do enforce. Yeah.
You're welcome, and then and then we'll bring this particular lesson to
I just wanted to clarify the statement that Chief had said, about the increase in revenues and all of the great things that are happening. It's wonderful, but that's finance. That's not the state. That's other people that do it. So, it's a wonderful praise as a group together, but don't make it sound like it's one person doing it. I'm finished. I'm not done. So, anyway, that being said, is these people that are complaining, they're real people. They're not all just the same people, like I have stated over and over again. They're different people, various people, people that are attached to people that work for the nation. They're people that are non-native. They're non-tribal. They don't have any investment in this tribe at all, other than that's the only place they have to work. They have to endure a lot of the craziness that happens if that's the only place that they have to work. They're limited at where you can go. If they live local and they have to work at the casino, then they're going to have to deal with all the bad stuff that comes with that. And it's hard to put our people in that position when they feel like they don't have a voice because they're scared, because they hear all of this stuff internally that's happening that's bad. If they say something, that's going to be their livelihood. That's the food that they put on their table. That's how they pay their rent. And that's what we're here for debating. We're not attacking one person. We're not attacking just in general everything. We're attacking the livelihood of our people. We're defending the livelihood of our people. And if those people, not the ones that are complaining, those people that are scared to complain, those are who we're here fighting for.
With that $40,000 purchase for the shares, how many shares did we get?
150 out of that one purchase is 150 shares.
And what were they used for?
They're on the casino floor at I-40. They're the burgundy chairs.
Well, I was under the understanding that when the vendors brought in the machine, they also brought shares in that machine.
There are some chairs that are brought in by the vendors, but a lot of our chairs were cloth chairs. And if you look at a cloth chair, and I'm not, there's a white ring, say it's a black cloth chair, there's a white ring on it, that normally means that there's things that have happened in that chair that we don't want to have, and we had a lot of those chairs that were not being maintained, so we made the decision. And that decision had started before I became general manager. We had already purchased the chairs before I started. I just progressed forward with it.
So this was already started before you got there? Or
Yes.
in that position?
Yes.
Okay, I think there was a procedure on how to do that with a certain limit of purchase.
Correct.
I think that was above, but you went ahead and done it anyway.
Correct.
For following through, even though the procedure was there and it wasn't followed. Is that my understanding?
Yes. And
Also, does any of your employees bring their children to work?
at the casinos now, at the administrative building, they have, yes.
Okay, we discussed that last meeting. That was not a good thing. Distraction for what they're supposed to be doing, this and that.
Well, I mean, my personal opinion is, I don't like it, because what if someone comes in and they have to have a meeting and there's children in the administrative building? However, in the last meeting, I took it that some favored it and some did not. And I was advised by those that work with me that it's allowed to have methodation, so I have not gone to stop that. But me personally, I don't like it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, unless it's bringing kids there, work, whatever it is they do, anyhow, is there any franchising going on that you're aware of?
Is there friend that I know of?
Paying you, whatever you want to call it?
No, I mean, at work, no.
So, with your employees there, again,
Well,
we hear things and people come talk to one another. Probably everyone here, that's somebody that's came to talk to them about certain things. And again, I'm not trying to destroy anything, but we want to keep going forward. But at the same time, these things, these issues come up. And again, there has to be a place. Again, it's been said over and over through this time here. Something has to be done before issues be taken care of. Because I'm sure that there's guidelines, and I'm sure that there's with the code of law and all that, and the state, that doesn't allow these things.
yes, we have policies in
And I
place,
think
yeah.
that somewhere, we need to get back within it, with the county's office.
Okay, we're going to bring this session to a close. Many of you bands are going on the second time asking questions, so S&G, appreciate your comments today. Broner, we'll address this one, and then I'll leave it up to the council, whether you want to take a break for lunch and then come back. Broner had their hand up earlier, wanting to hear from the certain committee.
Housing authority.
Housing authority.
Back in September, you guys received a letter about giving points to the freedmen. You said that you had got a committee together, you had discussed it with the administration. Well, we're in March now. Where are we?
Repeat her question, please. Paraphrasing.
Leetta, Representative Sampson is asking in regards to the freedmen being included into the policies at the Housing Authority. There was a discussion back in, we met in September. Last I know, we are working with HUD to, as far as Becky has emailed them to see what the answer is on the attorney.
Yes, we had a public meeting, I believe it was in October, and a representative, the administrator from HUD attended and addressed council and tribal administration and the Board of Commissioners with any questions they had. And it was expressed then by council reps that they felt like it was tribal, more of a tribal issue than just a housing issue. And no decision was made at that time by the Board of Commissioners that normally make our, or have been assigned to make our policy. So no policy changes were made. Since that time, there's been some discussion, but no changes have been made. I did make a request to HUD because there are questions about freedmen in our census numbers, and if we're receiving funds for the inclusion of freedmen in the services that we provide. And so we've been asked for clarification on that. And so because of the government shutdown, and then the administrator at HUD retired in December, the question was referred to their counsel, so their attorney. I haven't received a response from him or that person. So we're still waiting on that. So no changes have been made. The commissioners have started discussion on it, but no changes have been made.
Yes, just the legalities of it and everything, and making sure we're covering all our bases before a decision is made, because either way, the changes will either, upset one group or another group. But it's in discussion, and I think we actually are going to have it on topic next meeting, if we get an answer as far as.
Email me or call me and let me know when that meeting is, so we can attend.
Yes.
And see what those issues are.
Yes.
Okay, Kitty, and then-
Housing meetings are third Thursday of the month at 5:30. So it'll be the third Thursday.
And where are these meetings?
At the Housing Authority, there. It'd be the side door, not the main entrance.
Kitty, and then newcomer.
On the housing report, on that section 1.9, the tenant-based rental assistance for 80-100%, and it says it's a new activity.
Yes.
I know.
It's a new activity. 80 to 100% is considered non-low income. And so all of our activities are for low income. And so that has been added in because we can provide assistance to non-low income, which is 80 to 100% of the median income. And so rental assistance is normally for low income $200 a month. And that's the activity that's prior to that, 1.8 I think. So 1.9, there's 5 individuals that we can provide that for, and it's at $150 because we can't provide the same assistance to non-low income. So if there are individuals out there that need rental assistance, we can provide it, but it's at a lower rate of $150.
Newcomer.
Yes, I just kind of want some clarification on the meeting that was held last October, because I was there. The main thing is, the freedmen can apply for housing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's not the issue. They can apply for housing.
Right.
Okay? The issue was the point system, whether they get points or not. Now, it was read that they don't get any
Right.
priority points or anything, so they will always stay at the bottom of the list.
And we have freedmen who do apply, and we have them on our waiting list.
Sure.
And so they're on there like other tribes that
Other
apply.
tribes, right. So, it just depends on how many houses you get, how many people move out, whether they're up, and who can be bumped up above them. At the moment, do you have freedmen on your waiting list? About how
Yes.
many?
I know we're looking at, I've been looking at our home ownership waiting list, and I know that we have 2 on there.
Okay.
And what I've been talking to staff about is our tax credit, because tax credit is not only for Indians, it's because it's a state program. That one could, freedmen could qualify for it faster because we don't necessarily have a waiting list for it.
And I think that, for Ms. Sampson, I think that's some information that might be helpful to her if she knew that, if that was out. what all they can be, that what all they are entitled to, like with non-programs and stuff like that, because, you know, we know there's, the low income.
No, what we're talking about, that we're a part of the tribe and that we were counted in this area. And if we're part of the tribe, why would you treat us like we're not? That's my problem, with our people.
But they have applied for housing and
Yes.
they
And
are
they're on the
the
waiting
list.
list.
And
But they are not trying, the ones that went down and applied are not trying to buy a house because they don't have that income. They're trying to get rental assistance. So I don't know which one you're talking about.
But they can get.
They can, yeah, they can apply for all of our programs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, they can apply for everything.
Okay, we have Tom Palmer and Mr. Hutchins.
I just wanted to, kind of, give, Rebecca a little help in saying that, that she has more than one program that people could apply for and maybe qualify for. It just all depends on whatever, whatever it is that they're looking for. You know, it depends on the individual, whether they're eligible or not.
Ms. Hutchins.
Becky, can you tell us, I know you said they had applications pending, but the last time, from your memory, when Freeman was awarded a house?
Since I've been there, I know that one has not gone in the house.
Thank you.
Newcomer.
Is there anything in place for people who live outside of the jurisdiction?
Right now,
Is this enough?
yes, right now we have rehab assistance that goes 20 miles outside of our jurisdiction that we will help for a minor and major rehab can go outside. And then we help with down payment and closing. And you'll see on there that there's an 80 to 100% on that we've already helped one this year. Down payment and closing costs. There's $10,000 for two people for low income that can apply for that, and that's anywhere that we will assist them. If they're buying homes, that we can assist, and we did 80 to 100% on that. We've already served one this fiscal year with that in the 80 to 100%. And again, that is adjusted for their income at 80 to 100%.
Is there anything not income?
No, everything is for low income. We just have those two programs that are for non-low that are 80 to 100%.
Okay, Tallahassee, and then we'll bring this presenter to a close if there's no objection. Tallahassee?
Just real quick, will you tell me the board members?
We have Sherry Hardiman is the chair, Dan Factor is the vice chair, Sina Yeslip is the secretary, Tiffany West, and Matthew Yerby.
Is everyone in a current term, or is there anyone expired?
Cherry and Dan are both expired terms.
Thank you.
Are they all here today?
No, just Sina, I believe.
A lot of the housing commissioners won't come on a regular basis to council meetings. Okay, if there's not any other questions, we'll bring this particular presenter to a close. Any other questions for housing? Okay, thank you, ladies. Also, it's a little bit after the noon hour, but we probably still have committees here, commissions. So are there some people or commissions, committees that you want to hear at the moment? We could probably go up to about 12:30 and then take a break. If there are others that the council wants to hear. Is there anyone else that the council would like to hear now or after the break? Because if there's no one that you're wanting to hear, then we'll start on the new business when we get back after lunch.
Early childhood.
It's early childhood here at this time.
Was there any email that they wouldn't be here?
Are you speaking about the committee that looks like Head Start as well?
Kind of needed, not a committee, but.
Okay, this is about committees and commissions at this time. Not necessarily individual employees or.
Just funny.
Well, I know that you are, that's why I'm asking a question. Do you have a question for the committee members here? Okay, thank you. Judy?
Is there an objection to just going on with the business?
If there's no objection, we can continue on.
I was just thinking if the weather, I don't know when it's supposed to move in, but
Okay, if there's no objection to continuing without taking a lunch break. Okay, we have some that want to stay and continue business. We have some that are objecting to it. Is there a motion at this time to go into recess? Not recess, but to take the break for lunch.
Motion for lunch.
There's a motion and there's a second. So if you want to continue the business of the nation for a little longer, you vote nay. If you want to go on to lunch at this time, you vote yay. Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Simpson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Nerkemy,
Go to continue? No to continue. Yes to
What he needs some.
Yes, to go to lunch.
John,
No.
Rena Tiger,
no.
Sylvia Davis, Patrick Thomas, Raimundo Gomez,
Yes to go to lunch.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena, Patricia Kishkaton,
No.
Karen Fulbright,
No.
Dina Tiger,
No.
Jennifer Horn, Sina Yesla,
No.
Thomas Billy Jr.,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
No.
Susie Harjo,
No.
Natalie Harjo, Gregory Botow, Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Fanny Harjo,
No.
Kelsey Morrell,
No.
Regina Langford,
No.
William Williams,
No.
Everybody else, you should
Okay, the vote reads 11 yes, 13 no, 2 abstentions. We are still in session at this moment. So get my agenda here. Okay, if there's no other committees or commissions to be heard, then we can dismiss those who are here from those commissions and committees. No other committees and commissions to hear. Okay, then if you're here representing a committee or commission, then you can be dismissed for the remainder of the day. And thank you for coming as well. Okay, at this time we're entering into new business. And under new business, we have TO 2019-02, sponsored by Representative Yahola. He's not present. Does the other representative want to continue to sponsor this?
On behalf of the request of the band, we'll withdraw that. Bill?
You want to withdraw it at this time?
Withdraw, yes.
Okay. The response to that bill withdraws it at this particular time. Okay, we move on to TR 2019-15. Representative Lena.
Chair, at this time, TR 2019-15, I'm withdrawing.
There's a withdrawal as well of that particular resolution, TR 2019-15. We will move on. TR 2019-16, sponsored by Representative Kishkaton.
TR 2019-16, a tribal resolution of Seminole Nation of Oklahoma appointing Regina Langsford to the Intertribal Council of the 5 Civilized Tribes.
And ask for a second.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second.
Call for question.
Question has been called. Secretary, call for roll.
Leetta Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narcome,
No.
Rena Tiger,
No.
Sylvia Davis,
No.
Patrick Thomas,
No.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeff Parker,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Shelley Davis,
I'm sorry, excuse me, no. I got a vote on my hand.
What was your answer?
No.
Yes.
No.
His original answer was yes.
Okay, no issue, original statement.
Original statement was yes. I was grabbing the pen.
Shelley Davis,
No.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
No.
Dina Tiger, Zena Yesla,
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr.,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
No.
Susie Harjo, Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff, Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill,
No.
Danny Harjo, Kelsey Morrell,
No.
Regina Langford, William Williams,
Yes.
With a count of 11 yes, 15 no, 0 abstentions, I declare that measure to have failed. TR 2019-17, Representative Kishkaton.
TR 2019-17, a resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma reappointing Terry Haney to the Intertribal Council of the 5 Civilized Tribes. Ask for a second.
There's a motion and a second, and then we're in discussion right now. Tallahassee?
Yes, is Miss Haney here in person?
Terry, are you in the presence of this council meeting? Terry Haney? She's not here at this moment. She is
Then I just have a statement if she's
an
not
officer
here.
of the Intertribal as well.
I just have a statement then. She currently sits on that committee, and in the time that she's been on there, I've never seen a report produced to the council of her attending and the happenings that go on there. So that would be a concern. I don't know if it's in the verbiage of your resolution that she is required to do a written report, but I would ask that be put in there.
There's actually a requirement on all travel. If the tribe pays for the travel, that there be a be a report, so that's actually a standing.
Is the written report, how is it defined? Is it on, just on that expense report they turn in, it's just a paragraph, or is it a formal report?
Well, former Representative Gonzalez, as you know, wrote very good reports wherever she had attended. So different ones have different manners and ways of writing a report. But there is a section on the travel that you do fill it out, so they can use that, put it on the back as well, or do it as former representative as well did, and do a full report.
But they're a delegate of our nation, and we're not getting information back of what the happenings are and what's going on, so I think a little paragraph
Indeed.
is not sufficient
I understand.
information.
Whoever is the delegation that's appointed today, they will be reminded to do a travel, not only a travel report, but a report back to the tribal council as well. Okay, we do have a motion and a second. We're still in discussion. Newcomer?
With that being said, you're right, we need reports on what's going on in the tribal council is not going anymore, so we'd like to know what's going on with the five tribes. So I feel like maybe he thinks since he's sitting on that board, that he should be given reports back to us, and we do pay for his travel there at the next tribal. That holds the standard for him. Also, if Terry is not reappointed today, I'm just saying if she's not, I don't know if she will be or not, will she still be able to sit as the treasurer of intertribal? Is there a requisition that she has to be appointed by our tribe, you know? How does that work? I don't know.
That won't be a precedent.
It won't be a precedence. I believe that she still remains as the treasurer. She has been for 20 some odd years. Will continue.
She's done a good job there, you know, what I've seen. She's always been there and dedicated to the tribal.
And I say that without the familiarity of the bylaws of the Intertribal Council, unless it states otherwise. I will put that clarification, as far as I'm concerned.
And do they take care of any of her expenses on that end?
No, and she goes on travel on behalf of as a delegate of the Seminole Nation. The Seminole Nation pays her travel.
So for not being an officer of the intertribal, there's nothing that comes from them?
We most likely would have to be discussed at intertribal how those expenses would be incurred and paid for, unless we do it as an executive, out of executive on our behalf, and that would be the decision of the executive. If it came down to that. Okay, let's kind of limit these. There's a motion and a second. We have Tom Palmer first.
I was just gonna say that, is she not an employee of the Chickasaw? Did they not sponsor her?
I can't answer for the another nation, whether what they'll do or what they won't do, and where she's employed is not a question here. So if that comes to a point, we don't know what this.
All I'm saying is, I know when I worked for the Creek Nation, they always sponsored me if I was gonna travel. So I'm just saying, they're probably not.
Well, you can't speak for the Chickasaw Nation as well. But let's go ahead and go back to the question. Okay, we're back to the question here. I will call Secretary call the roll.
Leetta Sampson?
No.
Anthony Conley? John Narcome?
No.
Rena Tiger? No. Sylvia Davis? Yes. Patrick Thomas? Raimundo Gomez? No. Jeff Harjo?
No.
Timothy Hooper?
Yes.
Kelly Davis?
Yes.
Anita Lena? No. Patricia Kishkaton? No. Karen Fulbright? Gina Tiger? Yes. Sina Yesla?
No.
Thomas Billy Jr.?
No.
Abraham Ferrani?
Yes.
Susie Harjo? Yes. Natalie Harjo? No. Gregory Botel?
No.
Catherine McCoy?
No.
Charlie Hill?
No.
Fanny Harjo?
No.
Kelsey Morrell?
No.
Regina Langford?
No.
William Williams?
No.
The count is 17 yes, 18 no, 1 abstention. I declare that measure to have failed. TR 2019-1A. I'm going by what's on the paper. Thank you, tacticians and calculators.
Somebody abstain? Just 17-1. 17-19. Who abstained? Who abstained? Who abstained?
Is that what I said? I apologize for that. It's 7-18-1. 7-18-1. My glasses broke, and I'm wearing a very old pair, and these don't have bifocals. Okay. 7-18-1, I declare that measure to have failed. 17 sounds better. Okay, TR 2019-17. I'm sorry, 18. I had to check it off.
TR 2019-18, Charter Resolution of Seminole Nation, Oklahoma, approving modification to the FY 2018 Seminole Nation Child Care Budget and FY 2018 Comprehensive Budget. Ask for a second.
Second.
The question was called for, but being the intent of the, is there any questions at all on this particular measure? If not, no discussion. Even if question was called for, if there's discussion, you go to discussion. No discussion? Okay. Council? Okay, Secretary, call the roll.
Leetta Sampson?
Yes.
Anthony Conley?
Yes.
John Narcome?
Yes.
Rena Tiger?
Yes.
Sylvia Davis?
Yes.
Patrick Thomas?
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez?
Yes.
Jeff Harjo?
Yes.
Timothy Hooper?
Yes.
Kelly Davis?
Yes.
Anita Lena?
Yes.
Patricia Kishkatum?
Yes.
Karen Fulbright?
Yes.
Dina Tiger?
Yes.
Simi Yosef?
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr.?
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani?
Yes.
Susie Harjo?
Yes.
Natalie Harjo?
Yes.
Gregory Boto?
Yes.
Catherine McCoy?
Yes.
Charlie Hill?
Yes.
Fanny Harjo?
Yes.
Kelsey Morrell?
Yes.
Regina Langford?
Yes.
William Williams?
Yes.
With a count of 26 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstention, I declare that measure to have passed. TR 2019-20, 19. Representative Kishikawa.
TR 2019-19, resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma
reappointing Regina Langford to the Seminole Nation Administrative Appeals Board. Ask for a second. Second.
There's a motion and second.
Call for question.
Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Markamy,
No.
Rena Tiger,
No.
Sylvia Davis,
No.
Patrick Thomas, Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeff Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
No.
Dina Tiger,
No.
Jennifer Horn, Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr.,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
No.
Susie Harjo,
No.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
No.
Charlie Hill,
No.
Fanny Harjo,
No.
Kelsey Morrell,
No.
Regina Langford,
Yes.
William Williams,
Yes.
With a count of 12 yes, 14 no, 0 abstention, I declare that measure to have failed. TR 2019-21, Representative Yahola is not present. No comprehensive, okay. And I'm gonna get my glasses fixed. I'll have them next time. Excuse me. TR 2019-20. Finance Committee.
Tribal Resolution of Seminole Nation, Oklahoma, approving the proposed fiscal year 2019 comprehensive annual budget for the remainder of fiscal year 2019, and authorizing appropriations to fund the comprehensive annual budget. Ask for a second.
Second.
Call for question.
We're in discussion. When you call for question, and there is discussion, you go to discussion. Okay.
I'd like to call on the budget officer, if he's here.
Budget Officer, Mr. Factor? Yes, sir.
The other night when you came to our band meeting, and by the way, thank you for coming to our band meeting, you had discussed that there were several changes that you're still needing to make, minor changes, but basically some budgets that will need to be updated a little more. While reviewing this, we did notice that IDC program development was left out. I believe that was just a typo of some sort. There were a few things that were titled FY18 budgets, even though this is FY19. So we understand, I mean, you took this from what it was in mid-December to what it is now, and it's nearly there. It looks much better, but it's still not completely ready. So I make a motion or a friendly amendment to the sponsor that because of the discrepancies with a few of the general fund budgets and the IDC budget being left off, that we make a passage of only non-IDC, non-general fund budgets for FY19.
That's a request for a friendly amendment. The sponsor and the sec would have to accept that. You accept that? Could I explain?
Yes.
Could I provide
Yes,
some?
go ahead.
The program development budget was not included in the indirect cost budget for a couple of reasons. One being the indirect cost budget was could not afford it. It was so tight that we either had to, well, something had to be eliminated. And if you can see by some of the other budgets in indirect costs where they had position vacancies, we only funded those for part of the year. Some of them you'll see has 13 pay periods, 14 pay periods, things of that sort, because they're only funded part of the year. The program development budget, they had 2 vacancies. That there were both vacancies there. So with that said, it was decided that rather than cut people who are on staff to put money in positions where there was no one currently there, it was decided it'd be in our best interest to keep the people that are on staff. And then for now, not fund the program development specialists, program development department. Now, there's another reason for that as well. You also see that on the general fund side, the compliance office or self-governance office was done much the same way. For the compliance officer retired at the end of last month. We took the expenses for that position or for that office and then zeroed them out, and that's what you see in that budget. Going forward, the thought was that we would reevaluate the compliance officer, come back with a plan to the council, because it is a council function. Come back to the council with a design of a program or a function that might be more workable, because I think that there's probably one thing we can all agree on is that our compliance function does not perform the way we like it to be. So with that thought, when the 2020 budgets come around, which will start in just a few weeks, that compliance function will be reevaluated in that time. Plans will be presented to the council as to what they prefer and how they prefer to have it perform. And with that said, we would also include part of the program development functions within that, because they are related. You bring in new programs, but you also have to evaluate what you have now and how we're progressing at this time.
Were there expenses on the program development budget during this year?
None that I've seen.
So if there's not any, then we don't have to repass it over to a different department?
That's correct.
Okay.
It won't require change.
An amendment to my friendly amendment. We have to continue funding general fund and IDC at least for another 2 months roughly. So I just ask that they continue to be funded at 1/6 of their FY18 budget until the April council meeting. Okay. 212. You'll accept that?
That friendly amendment of 1/6 for those particular budgets has been accepted by the sponsor. So we go back to the original motion with that particular amendment. No other discussion? See, y'all hard against the sick and hard show.
There were a couple of questions as far as some of the wages, that the amounts aren't the exact amounts that were actually approved for 2018. So I would just like to ask for a friendly amendment to that, unless otherwise specified by subsequent legislation, all wages remain what they were approved under the 2018 budget, because I do believe there were a couple of positions that their reported wage for 2018 is incorrect. So unless otherwise specified by subsequent legislation, that you as the budget officer go back and I can get with you and identify the ones I've seen. But
So let me make sure I understand what you're saying is that there were some wages that were approved for 18.
But they were incorrect as reported.
As reported in 18.
As reported on the news.
On the 19 one?
Yes.
Okay, whether or not it be, when you say future legislation, are we talking about maybe budget modifications?
Yeah, any budget. Because, because not all of these wages are the same as they were when we approved 2018. Some of them have been modified. But there are a couple of wages in there that were passed for 2018 that aren't reported as the same the 2019 budget.
I appreciate that because, and you probably are right. We've done our best to go back and look at everything to make sure everything was as correct as we possibly could. I'm sure there are some that we missed. We'd be glad to go back and look at those. I'd be glad to visit with you on what those are. We'll correct those to your satisfaction, and if need be, we'll bring it back before the council.
Okay.
And then make sure that those are taken care of.
As well, Mr. Factor, like the procurement director, I think is being paid at a certain level, and there has not been a modification. There was a modification attempted way back in January of 18, but it was withdrawn. But she still has been being paid at the original entry when hired. So, that will have to be corrected, and she's going to continue to be paid that amount as well, to be reflected in the budget.
Okay.
Just passing federal, it's just a passing federal program.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
I had a question specifically in travel roads budget. Your indirect cost is at 34.14%. And it was a question asked whether or not, where that calculation come from, and is indirect costs going into that program?
The travel roads,
Yeah, travel roads.
the BIA travel roads, or the general fund? Okay, the general fund, and that's a good question. It's been brought up several times at many of the band meetings and the other night at the band chiefs meeting. One of the things that we did different this year was that the indirect cost is calculated for all eligible budgets, including the general fund. In the past, the general fund had one line item called indirect cost subsidy, and we kicked in a single amount. What we've done this year to try to make it more transparent, more accountable, is that we've calculated the indirect cost for each of those budgets, including the general fund budgets, so that the actual cost of that program is more readily visible. That's why you see that there. Now, in doing that, what we started out with was the original budget that was provided by, in this case, the travel roads, but with all the general fund budgets. We started out with the amount they had in the prior year, what they had submitted. The indirect cost then was calculated and added on top of that. So we didn't take anything from what they had the previous year or what they had proposed. Yes. Okay.
And then also too, you said that some of the salaries were kept, not with the full amount in there. So like, if a director is hired, you're just gonna ask for a budget line to make up that salary. Like one particular one was the incoming records director who's only $5,000 for that director. How would that fill them out for the year if somebody's hired?
The amount that's in there is for 13 13 pay periods, I believe. Maybe a few more than that, but it's around 13 or 14 pay periods. The individual who was in there was there through 7 pay periods, which leaves us 6 more for the rest of the year. If and when that position is filled, we will go back. Well, let's say it's filled early enough where we do not have enough money for 6 pay periods at the end, that we do not have enough money to cover them for those 6 pay periods. We will then have to do a budget modification, come back to the council, and request that based on the height of the new person. We don't know when that's going to occur and how much they're going to be paid. Once we know that, we can come back and request that.
And then my final question is, also it was mentioned that there has been some position changes within Treasury and accounting, and wanted to know, can people be flopped in positions without coming to council? I thought that was, I know it would be done. Apparently somebody from accounting was put in Treasury, and Treasury was put in accounting, or I know they've been swapped this.
You mean coming to council for the purpose of the budget, or coming to council for permission for employees, transfers, or placement in other departments?
The budget?
No, the budget wasn't increased, nor was it depleted, so it was going to come back to the council. Now, had it been the officer, they hired the treasurer, for instance, obviously that would come to the council, but it's dictated and mandated by law. Any other questions? Okay, you can go. No, was there one? Was there a question back here? Oh, okay.
My question is on, I'm assuming it's the same way, I guess, and with the pay period. Vehicle maintenance, we had a technician, salary last year, 2018 was 53,728. When we proposed 2019, it's 37,210. It's the same hourly.
Vehicle maintenance is a good question, because that's paid for 19 pay periods, and with the general fund, that's pretty much what we put forward. So what we're looking at is trying to find a way between before that 19 pay period runs out to be able to fund these positions and carry it forward. We had enough money to pay for 19 pay periods. That's on funding. And then again, once we figure that out, if we're able to, we'll come back to the council and add money to that, provided that we can find the money. Let me get to his question. I have something I'd like to say before we vote.
My question wasn't actually it can't pertain to the budget itself. And maybe I just missed this completely, but I would ask the finance committee chairman here, what is the source of funding for since we were nominating intertribal council representatives? What is the source of their, who pays for their travel?
One of them must be coming to that non-departmental.
No, that was just my question. I didn't see it identified as any.
Yeah, that's what I've mentioned in the prior meeting, is that the fact that all stipends and, have been paid, non-departmental, but,
I know, but I was just saying it's general.
That's something we also need to address, because according to the code, it says it needs to come out of general council budget.
Which is my second one. If it is, we're voting to defund all travel on general council.
That was me. Yeah, that was the motion we made prior.
Yeah. So I was just it escaped me that I didn't see it actually identified anywhere. Okay.
Make a second.
My final question was, I guess to finance committee, is all the directors involved in their budgets? Do they present their budgets and give it to you all, and they're involved in the changes, and are they notified of the changes?
We've been discussing that with the budget officer as a liaison to that.
What I did, came on board after we talked about that on December the 2nd, I sent out an email to all the directors asking them to resubmit their budgets. Most of them did. Most of them did. And as they came in, we evaluated them. I shouldn't say we, evaluated them on several different subjects. And those are the elements I talked to you back in December. One is, do they balance? The calculations appear to be correct. And the third one, are they all justifiable? We had several issues with the amount of the budgets. We had to go back to the directors, and most of them, they weren't going down. They didn't have enough money in there to cover what they should have had, especially on federal programs. There were some questions about how we calculate for instance, from BIA, how we calculate their base costs, and then they get what's called direct contract support and indirect contract support. We went back and verified those, and while the compliance officer was still there, we verified all those amounts with that position, and then we went back to each director, and then had them make the necessary revisions. Where do they want to use that money? Right. The only thing I would say that we probably need to do that would be an improvement is, because right towards the end, these past few weeks, there have been some few minor tweaks, and that I was not able to get back to them in time before it had to come to you. But I have talked to almost all of them and said that where these occur, we'll sit down after this is over, and then we'll make those changes, and we'll go back to the council to make the corrections so that it meets their needs as well as your requirements. And you know, when you're talking about the payroll costs, that's what we're talking about. And that ties into what I was going to say. Let me go ahead and get your question.
So this is just a quick question. Are you aware of our sanctions being lifted yet?
Luckily, I have no idea about that.